Oh man, do we have all day here?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I think I'll just give you the story from the start. Make it simpler. So there I was in university in Aberdeen. I remember it being a wonderfully snowy day, and I just had to up and leave because Ship Simulator Extremes had just gone on sale. I'd been watching it for quite some time, and I really wanted to get my hands on it. So I jumped on my motorcycle, got home, bought the game. It actually came with loads of other Paradox games as well. I was like, oh, even better. And I played the game. Yeah, swiftly stopped playing it and started exploring the rest of the catalogue and just got entirely absorbed by the grand strategy games by Paradox. And yeah, like I said, all absorbing, and eventually did a lot of videos about the game, did a lot of exploratory playing, breaking a lot of stuff in it, and got to know Paradox through conventions just like this, in fact. And I remember I gave a great line saying, "You'd be a fool to hire me." So, as fools do, I ended up getting hired here. I applied for an open position here, and that began my life at Paradox. I entered Paradox in a QA position. I was the QA for Europa Universalis 4, so I mean, all the bugs you can just personally blame me for. But as it happened, we split a certain role in the organization, which meant that there needed to be a specific designer on the project rather than an all-encompassing single role. And I ended up being the fit for the job. So I was told, "You interested in taking this up?" Hell yeah! You know, it's such a great feeling to have more influence over the growth of our game. So I leapt at that. So I worked away in the design position for quite some time as Johan as the director for Europa Universalis, and we worked very closely together for quite some time. It was a great dynamic we had, and eventually the time had come where it was a case of, okay, EU4 is going to need a new director as Johan has other projects, as we've just seen.
Yeah.
So it's like I applied internally for the position, and just how long ago now? It was mid to late last year. Became director, and I guess my first project that I really put out as a director would have been the Cradle of Civilization. I don't want to go into specifics about things that I'm going to completely wrestle away from my predecessor, but of course Paradox is full of very creative individuals, and no two creative individuals are going to see eye to eye on every single thing. So of course there are going to be my own vision spin on things within Europa Universalis. But you know, we worked together so well together for so long because we did share a similar vision for the game. So yes, of course, I shall exercise this power, but you know, great power and great responsibility and all that. I'm not there to suddenly just change everything and do a U-turn. Europa Universalis is our core grand strategy game, and it's very important that we stick to the vision for it. It needs to have a clear identity. You know, it's something that we hear quite a bit about the game. So we introduce new expansions, with them come new mechanics, and it is something that we are improving on. At least I feel we are, where we actually make them more ingrained together. Because that's one of the common feedback I get is that, okay, you've added a mechanic. I don't want to name names, but let's say like innovativeness, maybe. And it's like it's a fair bit of feedback that people feel, okay, they want it to be looped into more within the game, and this is something that we've certainly taken on board in Dharma, where you find that the government overhaul, for example, is going to rope into a lot more of the mechanics that we have, so they feel more intertwined, where your government reforms are of course going to impact on how your states feel about the way you run here, and indeed the policy overhaul, perhaps the different reforms that you pass through your governments are going to affect what amount of policies or how expensive they're going to be. So, like I said, this is feedback that we have had coming in and are acting upon. Excellent. Yeah, I kind of anticipated this one because I was watching some of your videos beforehand because I wanted to know more about that. So yeah, this is something that I have heard. You know, people want some more vibrant stuff brought into warfare, and I think this is a case of just disagreements on how we want things to proceed. For example, we did remove combat width penalties to battles. We had our own ideas. Like, we didn't like the fact that battles would take forever to reach their conclusion, and this also had the impact, of course, on the rotation. I understand that people like to feel that, you know, if they can work the rotation faster, then they should get the cutting edge. It's not really our idea that he micros fastest can win in these battles, because in the end they are adjustable speeds for the game, so we don't want it to feel that, you know, the fastest Twitch gamer can win on that. So I understand there are obviously people that feel that's not what they're looking for, but this is our vision for it, and it's how we want it to proceed. Not all changes are going to make everybody happy, of course, so I'm a firm believer that we should make ourselves happy. In a word, yes.
Okay.
Yes, we care vividly about multiplayer, and I feel that needs a bit more explaining. I've heard from both sides of the argument here. Some people actually think that we only care about multiplayer. I think a lot of this stems from the fact that we do a lot of multiplayer within the company. We have our dev clash and even smaller multiplayer things that are not streamed. And this, we believe, is where you find the key balance issues that you need to tweak, and even find where the key fun moments are in the game. We have a lot of people very into the game within the company. So yes, we understand most people play single player. We of course have to have this great single player experience, but we find that we can really squeeze out the juices when we do it in multiplayer to find out what we really need to fixate on. So you feel the meta has become somewhat inflexible there. Yeah, it has really been the case for multiplayer. It's kind of accepted within the community right now. You play multiplayer and you don't want to die. You go hardcore on the military. We do want to offer more alternatives to that. For example, if you're Portugal in a multiplayer game, you shouldn't always have to just invest in your military ideas and policies and such to flow with that. In fact, policies is something that we built on to kind of work against this idea that with policies you just want 5 military ones, especially in multiplayer, just to win. So the policies have been done in a way so that, you know, you can have up to 3 of them, but you will still have the opportunity to invest in diplomatic and administrative policies with that.
Well, don't you think that there are still, like, for example, maritime? Who even picks maritime ever? Like,
it's the best diplomatic idea. No, I understand. It's actually on the cards to take a good look at the idea group balance, and indeed the policy balance, to get a better grip on that. Henrik Hansen, aka Groogy, has recently joined the design team on that. I know it's one of his passions as well to take a good look at what we have for the multiplayer balance here. So without promising too much, I'll say absolutely we're going to take a good look at it. No, that is not on the plan. You mean your fleets, your navies, and
naval battles and so on.
There's no plans to make any kind of overhaul there at this time.
90%, maybe 95% of players don't actually know how warfare works, how battle works, how stack wiping works, all this stuff, all these modifiers, how morale converts into discipline, how compatibility converts to that. So don't you see there's a problem about that?
This is certainly a problem that we have mostly in portraying information. So it's something I see a lot for new players. It's like, I have this army, it's twice the size of my enemies, why did I lose? It is something that we need to improve a lot on, like giving you a quick, accessible, and there's the key word, accessibility, in understanding what strength you have. Stellaris took great strides in there by just simply giving you a value, and you can break it down further if you want. You can look down at every individual tweak that you've done to your composition, but simply giving people this value is great. And currently the only real value we give you at a glance is just how many you have. So I understand the frustration of people that go, somebody half my size completely wiped the floor with me. So yes, we do understand that there's a lot to be done, and I do believe this is an accessibility issue. We should make things clearer. Oh, that kind of probing. So yes, the immersion pack model, we did Third Rome. We followed it up with Rule Britannia. Rule Britannia did phenomenally well. We are extremely happy with the performance of that immersion pack. And it's really bolstered our decision to go in this direction. There will be more immersion packs coming in the future. Dharma, that's on its way right now, is of course a full-fledged $20 expansion. So yes, we will continue with the immersion packs. As for where they are, I don't want to give too much away, but I will feel that between Mandate of Heaven, Cradle of Civilization, and Dharma, we've done like a great job of really revamping the rest of the world, which for a long time used to be like the friction point of, you know, it's just Europa, we need more for the rest of the world. So I do think that a return to Mother Europe is a fast approaching. Yeah, so in fact this actually came up in our panel earlier, and it's a greater question for the company at large. You know, is there a point at which we should consider rolling existing older expansions into the base game? I don't have a commitment to make on this front right now, because it is, as I said, part of a greater discussion. This is something that we can certainly consider, but we don't have a hard answer on that at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
No, it's been a pleasure.